again, it's great to be with you this year. Unfortunately, this year online because we have just finished our parliamentary debate on the budget and adopted the budget for 2026. So I had to be in Serbia. You know, I would like to say that as the Speaker of the National Parliament of the Republic of Serbia, in terms of EU enlargement, in all honesty, I have to say that I am a little bit confused on, you know, what's the perspective? Is it based on meritocracy or is it just purely political will? And last year I said that it's not based on meritocracy, and you know, it is absolutely not a merit-based process, and I kind of feel that to keep insisting on that phrase that it is merit-based has almost became an insult to most of us in the Western Balkans. Because you know, it has nothing to do with setting the goals, and then when you achieve the goals in terms of, you know, implementing the reforms, the clusters will magically open, because they will not. Serbia has fulfilled all of the technical conditions to open cluster 3 already in 2021. We are going to enter 2026 without cluster 3 obviously being open. It doesn't seem likely that it's going to be open in December. So by the end of 2025, and we have already had five consecutive progress reports from the European Commission recommending to EU member states to open cluster 3 in Serbia, and nothing is happening. So no, it's not merit-based. And on what kind of political will and what does this political will depend on is, again, going back to where I began, is now very confusing to me, because we have implemented additional reforms. Still, cluster 3, you know, hasn't been open yet. But then again, not to complain too much, I think our friends, partners, and neighbors from North Macedonia have to be even more, you know, they're probably even more frustrated, even more confused, and even more disappointed, because what they have been through in terms of resolving their open issues with Greece, changing the name of the country, and not even getting a date to start negotiations is, you know, it just sends all of the wrong signals. On the other hand, I have to congratulate our partners from Albania. In less than 2 years, they got to open all of the clusters. For Serbia, it took 11 years to open 2 clusters out of 6. So I am very confused, and I have no idea, you know, what is this whole, you know, integration process based upon, and what do you actually need to do to progress. It's not merit-based. Whether it's political or not, I fail to actually understand the logic of the process. Although I have been the prime minister for 7 years, and now for 2 years the president of the Serbian parliament. So I've been someone who has been, you know, trying to push Serbia towards the EU for now more than 9 years. Doesn't seem that I'm that successful, to be perfectly honest. I have to repeat the same thing that I've said last year when I was in your conference.
Yeah.
And that is, European Commission is really a very credible, very reliable, and very predictable partner. When it comes to European Commission, it is merit-based. So European Commission basically sets, kind of sets the stage on what they expect from a country to do, and when you do it, they follow up. As I said, there is nothing I can say in terms of European Commission. They always do what they've said that they will do. You have these set of reforms that you have to implement. You implement them or you do not implement them. They recognize this, and then they recommend opening of the clusters. But opening of a cluster needs support from all EU member states, and that's where we get to a problem. Is that European Commission has actually now recommended for 5 years in a row that cluster 3 gets open with Serbia, but they can't force EU member states to do that. And each separate member state has their own kind of idea on what you need to do and what you need to deliver on in terms of in order for them to provide an approval, a green light for your country to open actually cluster. And that differs from one country to the next. So, even if the EU Commission said, yes, this country has fulfilled everything, please, give them a pass for the next stage of this game. It's up to them whether they want to or they don't want to. Yes, and again, European Commission has been fair. They have been reliable. They have been, they have been very ambitious in terms of setting the goals, which is good, because at the end of the day, the reforms that we need to do on our EU path are first and foremost good for our country and for our people. But even once you implement them, you don't really, it doesn't mean that you will progress to the next level of this game. All kinds. But I'm obviously not charming enough. I've been in Brussels almost every week for the past 2 months. We have fantastic ambassador. We have great team. We have Ministry of European Integration that does its best. The president, Alexander Vučić, who is in regular contact with the president of the European Council, the president of the European Commission. He will soon again have a meeting with the president of the European Commission. But it just, doesn't seem to work. You have countries which are more skeptical. Obviously, in case of Serbia, those are first and foremost the Baltics. We are now opening embassy in Latvia to cover all of the Baltic countries. Working very hard with Germany. I would say that one of our biggest supporters are certainly France and Italy. But things are stuck, and we can't seem to get them unstuck, if I can say so.